Would you love to have more friends who share not only your love of reading romance books, but talking about them afterwards? Of course you would. So today I have 5 easy peasy steps on how to start your own romance reading book club. Hi everyone, I'm Lisa over at Lisa London Books, where I have a romance AuthorTube channel. And today, 5 easy peasy steps that you need to start your own romance reading book club. So let's get going. The first one is, are you going to have your book club online and it's going to be virtual, or are you going to have one in person? Or maybe you're going to combine both because you're really great at live streaming in-person events. So the second thing you need to decide is, where is your base of operations going to be? Now, if you're going to do online, you can really pick any social media platform. You could do YouTube, you could do Facebook, you could do Twitter, you can do Instagram, Goodreads, it doesn't matter. You could set up a group, you can have everything by a hashtag, you could have a mailing list, any way that you can kind of communicate to your group on what's happening with your book club, when you guys will meet, and what the actual book is that they should be reading. The other option, if you are going to have an in-person group, is you need to pick a venue, and this could change every month, but you want to pick a venue where you are either going to be centrally located to the area that you have kind of advertised or market your reading book club to, or usually somewhere that has free parking and is very easily accessible from maybe major highways, depending on where you live, and also a place that maybe is open to having teas, coffees, something like that. So coffee shops are great, restaurants, bars. If you're going to have it at a bookstore, sometimes they have a cafe set up inside. If you're going to be in a library, it's usually no liquids or food at all, but then the venue is usually free and you can reserve it ahead of time or for a very low fee. So tons of different options. I've even seen them held at hotels in the lobby as well. So that brings us to number 3, which is deciding on timing. So the first thing you need to decide is, how frequently do you want to meet? Are you going to do weekly, semi-weekly, bi-monthly? Most book clubs are set up to do monthly, so everyone knows it's either like the first Friday of the month or the last Thursday. You'll also need to think about the time of day. So if you are going to cater mostly to stay-at-home moms, then maybe you want to have it at 10 a.m. on Tuesdays. But if you're going to miss some of the corporate people, so you might want to have it in the evenings at 8 o'clock and maybe at a bar when people are kind of winding down for the night, or you could have it on weekends and then you could catch everybody. So really up to you. Also, you want to decide kind of an end time. So if you're doing it in person, sometimes what I've seen is you'll meet for an hour to talk about the book, and then you'll say the second hour is a social hour, and we're going to, if we're at the library, we're all going to head across the street together and grab a drink at O'Houlihan's or whatever is nearby. So that is a different option. And the number 4, the fourth thing you want to think about is the format. So when you actually meet in person, will you be the facilitator? Will you rotate that to another co-host, or will you let somebody in the group volunteer? Will you have a set of questions that you have for every book, or will someone create questions just for that particular one, or do you want to more free flow the conversation? So when you actually meet up in person, people will be looking to you, the leader, to provide some direction or guidance or some sort of structure for that meeting time together. The 5th thing is, you need to pick a book. So this brings us back to defining your club. So for romance, you could do different subgenres, like you could have the paranormal club, you could have the romantic suspense club, the erotic romance club. So you could have that define your entire club, or you could just say, you know what, we are a romance writing group, a reading group, and we are going to just rotate every month. Or we could have themes for different months, and then you could let people vote on the book. You could choose the book, the co-hosts could vote, you guys could maybe collaborate with different authors of new releases they have coming up and have that as your book of the month club. So anything everything kind of goes, but I do have some really great book recommendations for you within all of those subgenres. So the first one is How to Hack a Heartbreak. This is a romantic comedy from Kristen Rockaway. This is actually her debut novel. It's really good. She is local here to San Diego. Very cute book. Another one is Tangled with a Texan by Yvonne Lindsay, and this is from the Harlequin Desire line. And another really great thing, so this could be erotic romance, but the nice thing about Harlequin is they have category lines where they've kind of predefined for you that subgenre. So if you say we are only going to talk about, let's say, romantic suspense, you could get books just from the romantic suspense line. This is Kavanaugh's Missing Person by Marie Farella. I always say that wrong. And this is really good. Now, something to note too is this is a series. So whenever you're going to read a book in a series, you always want to start with the first in the series. So sometimes I know series will say that their books are standalone, and even if you read number 8, you don't have to have read 1 through 7. However, for book clubs, and just the natural tendency for people is we want to read things sequentially. So you always want to start with number 1, no matter how standalone the author claims that the books are. Further in the series, you're going to turn off a lot of people who may have participated if you had started with book 1, even if it's like a series that started 10 years ago. So that's kind of the rule of thumb. The other 2 areas are the paranormal. You could do Haunted by Heather Graham. I love that series. Historical, you could do Brazen and the Beast by Sarah MacLean, who is actually my favorite romance historical writer. And I don't know, fun fact, but she used to teach romance writing classes, and that is how I learned how to write romance in the first place. So love Sarah MacLean, love all of her books, and love her just as a person. She's super nice and wonderful. So those are all books just kind of to get you started. Other things that you might want to think about too is age limits, or whether you want to let in both men and women. I always say it should be 21 and over, just because you don't know the heat level of some books, and it could be kind of uncomfortable or awkward, or just really inappropriate for anyone younger than 21, I think, to maybe be in the groups. And plus, honestly, if you guys decide to go out for drinks afterwards, it will feel exclusionary if you have people in the group who are 19 or 20. So another consideration. The other thing is you might want to think of a cute name for your romance reading book club. So it could be something that tells people right away it is just for stay-at-home moms. The Stay-at-Home Mom Romance Reading Club. It doesn't have to be super spectacular or something too clever, or you could do something for paranormal romance books that go bump in the night or something, if you would like to do more romantic suspense or paranormal or things like that. So that is something else that you could think about. The last thing I will say is you might want to consider making this paid instead of free if you are going to be utilizing venues where it will cost you money to either rent the space or save that location in order to host your book club. And obviously you will know your area better than others, but you might want to just let people know that ahead of time. Something nominal. I mean, even in New York City, I think we were charged $5 for a book club meeting, and that just helped cover the cost because there were so many of us, and then we pretty much took over a space, whether that was a bookstore or a coffee shop. So let's recap that list for you really quick. So the first one is, do you want to have it online or in person? And the second is you need to establish a base of headquarters or a mailing list so you can communicate with people. The third one is to decide on timing. How frequently do you want to meet, and when do you want to meet? How long will that be? Where will it be? The fourth thing is, what is the actual format when people meet, and who will be facilitating? And the fifth is, what book will you read, and is your club going to be a specific romance subgenre, or are you going to rotate and leave that open and let people vote either way? And then some other considerations where I suggested that your club should be 21 and over, just for the considerations of if you guys want to grab a drink later, and because of the content nature of some of romance books, you never have to worry about that. And also, do you want men and women, and do you want to have it free versus paid, and do you have a cute name that maybe you want to think of for your romance reading book club? All right, I hope you found that helpful. helpful. Super excited to hear about your romance reading book club. So if you have one or some great ideas for people, make sure to leave those below. And if you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and hit subscribe, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.